Vowles?
Okay, my name's Stephen Vowles. I live at 370 North Main Street here in town. Are we sure that's going to pick me up over there? Because I want to make sure everything I speak is recorded accurately tonight, okay? If you need to move it closer, feel free. My mug won't break the camera, I promise. So, first of all, I just want to address a little bit about the APRA request that was amongst some of the discussion in the Valley Breeze over the week. There was a specific reason why I asked for some information recently. And I got everything I asked for ultimately, but I got a lot of stuff that I didn't ask for in addition to that, and I'll address that afterwards. But numerous people in town have come to me and expressed a concern about some, I guess we'll call them abuses of policies and procedures over at the town hall, specifically relating to the town administrator. And that was the catalyst for me asking for this information. Some of the information that I asked for was mileage reports for a couple of town vehicles, timesheets for, one of the vehicles was the town administrator's, timesheets for the town administrator, timesheets for Mr. Parmelee, and then for some reason I was also given timesheets for Mr. Cambio. I'm not sure why. I had asked for his mileage reports as well. Part of what was told to me was that during the month of July, Ms. Hamilton took a lengthy trip with the company vehicle well out of state. The town vehicle well out of state. And that's really what prompted me to start taking a look at the mileage, the usage of the vehicle. And I want to reference very quickly part of the town charter that specifically says that during a vacation or extended absence, the vehicle shall be parked at a town facility for use by other town employees. Any employee seeking use of the town vehicle must have approval from the department director. So it seems to me the charter is pretty clear that if you're going into some personal business, the vehicle is supposed to be left in the town and not taken. So in any event, she traveled, from what I'm told again from numerous people, somewhere down to the Virginia, Washington, D.C. area to pick up her eldest son and bring him back. So, and the reports kind of corroborate that, but one of the other interesting things that I found while I was going through here is that there's an obvious attempt, in my estimation anyway, to doctor, misrepresent. I mean, I guess I'll leave it up to the council to decide how they want to view this, but the mileage inputs and outputs as I went through the 12 plus months of what was provided to me, and I'll use March as an example. Her opening mileage for the month of March was 119 miles on her vehicle. The out mileage that she keyed in on her last transaction was 122 miles, for a total of 3 miles for an entire week while working for the town. There was 3 transactions at the pump for her, for a total of 28.7 gallons. Now, I'm somebody that had a company vehicle for a long time. Very familiar with fleet cards, how to use them, how to key in mileage, and record things. I also happen to have a Ford Fiesta as one of my company vehicles, so I know that basically they're going to average around 30 miles to the gallon. But I took a conservative estimate of 25 miles per gallon. And based on those 28.7 miles, she actually put on 718 miles that month on her vehicle. So that's 28.7 miles, 28.7 gallons at 25 miles per gallon. And I know that's a conservative estimate because I had one of those vehicles myself. And it kind of goes on through all 12 months where things are just inconsistent and they don't add up, because you go to April and the mileage in is 125 miles. Mileage out is 1,334 miles for a total of 1,200 miles. Yet, there's 4 transactions at 33.8 gallons the entire month, which totals, again, at 25 miles to the gallon, which is conservative, 845 miles traveled on the vehicle. So I started to get a little bit concerned, obviously, because nothing seems to add up. You go to May, 1368 in, 1457 out for a total of 89 miles. Yet she fuels up for a total of 38.3 gallons. And again, if you extrapolate that out, it's 958 miles. You get down to July, and obviously that's the big one where, as I said, several people came to me and expressed concern that she had taken the vehicle somewhere down to the mid-Atlantic while on vacation. The estimate that I have at the 45 gallons that she put in, which can't include what probably was put in while she was away, is 1,125 miles on the company vehicle. I'm sorry, I keep saying company, on the town vehicle. So I kind of want to leave that with you guys. There's just something that isn't adding up, and I refuse to believe that she doesn't understand or wasn't properly trained on how to input hours, miles, while she was at the pump. It's a pretty simple process. And again, back to the town charter for that specific month, if you're on vacation, it's pretty clear the vehicle remains on town property. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, because again, I thought I was just going to find an instance where she took it on vacation for a while. But then as I started to dig further and further, it's just the mileage entries don't make any sense. And quite frankly, I would love at some point during this meeting for somebody to take a quick break and walk out there and turn the vehicle on and find out what the true mileage is, because that may answer some questions before the night's over. One other instance that I came across that I found kind of interesting, and I'm not sure what it all means, is over the weekend for the VJ Day holiday. According to her timesheet, she took the VJ Day holiday plus sick day on the day after, yet she went in and gassed up at 10:45 on Saturday morning, 10:04 on Saturday morning, the 13th. Took vacation day on Monday. On Tuesday, took a sick day. And then on the 13th at 10:04 a.m., which I believe is Wednesday or Thursday based on the timesheet, she gasses up again. And somehow, while working one day for the town, based on the information that's input here, of course, maybe possibly not reality, but certainly what was put in there, she traveled 336 miles for one day worth of work for the town of North Smithfield. So, again, things just weren't adding up, and there was a lot of information that I asked for, this being one of them. There's a lot of other things that I was, again, these people came to me about, but this was the first thing that I addressed in my research because obviously of the concerns that I have, violation of the town charter, once again, and obviously, I'll let you guys make your determination, but it seems pretty clear to me. I did internal investigations and internal audits for a long time for a living, and it seems pretty clear to me that there's a concerted effort here to cover up the actual miles. That's my opinion. What I'm here to do is kind of leave this with you all, and hopefully you're going to take it serious and take a deeper dive and a deeper look at it. One of the other things that I came across with relation to the timesheets is that she's actually spending town time conducting meetings for the Rise Mayoral Academy.
Mr. President, if I'd make a motion to extend, because right now, if we're going to follow the agenda, we're going to have a problem extending open public hearing. And it looks like a lot of folks want to speak. So if I make a motion to continue it to 7:30, and knowing we don't use that time, we can start the meeting after that. So I would like to make a motion to continue the public hearing to 7:30.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Zawinski, second by Councilman Sullivan to extend. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Go ahead, Mr. Miles.
Okay, just 3 quick instances that I came across while I was reviewing our timesheets. January, and I was actually at this meeting, and I kind of was going to let it slide at the time, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. The meeting was called to order at 10:10 over at the town hall by Ms. Hamilton, and it was adjourned at 10:57, again by Ms. Hamilton. Nowhere on a timesheet does it note that she took time off to conduct this meeting at the town hall. The next instance that I saw was, let's see, June 4th, which is a Thursday. The office closes at 7 p.m. The meeting was held at Clinton Street in Woonsocket, and Ms. Hamilton called the meeting to order for RIGL Mayoral Academy at 4:30 p.m. and she adjourned the meeting at 5:38 p.m. And again, nowhere on a timesheet for that week does it notate that she took time off to go conduct this meeting. And the third instance that I found, and I'm going to leave it at 3 for now. Again at Clinton Street at noontime on June 25th. That's when the meeting was scheduled to start. It actually started at 12:30, and she called it to order. She ended it at 1:29. So if we're going to Clinton Street from the town of North Smithfield, I've got to estimate you've got to leave 15 minutes ahead of time to get there for a noontime meeting. And then obviously the meeting didn't start until 12:30. It got ended at roughly 1:30, and at least another 15 minutes to get back, depending on what other discussions were held after the meeting. So I've got a concern about that town time is being used to conduct meetings for the RIGL Mayoral Academy. So I wanted to leave you with that as well, as something to take a look at. And lastly, everything that I put in that article, or the blog for that article, I put my name on it because I stand behind what I say and what I write. And I firmly believe that the fact, and I'll let Mr. Gerton speak for himself whenever he chooses to, but for myself, the fact that he and I are the only 2 people that have ever been charged prepayment, which was corroborated by Deb Todd, and that's the only reason I put her name in the article, just to prove that I didn't make that up myself, because I'm sure somebody would have accused me of it. I'm not talking about being charged, I'm talking about being charged a prepayment. Is an effort to hinder the APRA process. And in addition to that, I was given so much ancillary information and charged for it that I never asked for. So it took me quite a while to dig through it. I asked for mileage reports. I was not only given separate mileage reports, I was given gas usage reports. And I was given it for the entire fleet. I didn't ask for it for the entire fleet. I asked for it for 2 vehicles. I asked for timesheets for 2 people. I got them for 3. To me, again, in my estimation, my humble opinion, it was done intentionally. To number 1, overcharge me, and number 2, make it more difficult on me to do this research that I'm happy to do on behalf of the town. Okay? When I have multiple people from the town that are contacting me with concerns that there's abuse of the town vehicle, that there's abuse of hours and timesheets, then I take it seriously, and I'm gonna take a look at it. And to have all this ancillary stuff thrown into it, I find it insulting. This could have been done very easily and very quickly. There would have been no confusion at all. Again, that's my opinion. The council can form their own opinion. I'm happy to share any copies of anything that I have with you. There's other things that I'm looking at. There's other things that have been alleged that I haven't gotten to yet, so I need to keep my copies. But I can certainly give you copies of what I've spoken about tonight. I know it's good and welfare, and I understand Robert's rules, and you really can't comment at this point, but I'm certainly happy to discuss with anybody that wants to discuss this. Show them all the documentation, the backup documentation. And I really hope that this isn't, I know I don't have to say this, I hope I don't have to say this, but that it's not falling on deaf ears and it's going to be taken seriously, taken a look at. Because the taxpayers are on the hook for the wear and tear on that vehicle. Not just the lengthy trip that she took down to, whether it was Virginia or Washington DC, I have no idea. All I know is what I was told, that it was to pick up her son and bring him back. So we're on the hook for that wear and tear, and the fact that none of these entries into the mileage log make any sense at all. And if you do simple math and look at the gallons that were put into that car and multiply that out times a very conservative 25 miles per gallon, that's a lot of miles to be put on that vehicle in a very short period of time. We're talking almost 20, actually over 20,000, I think, is where we're at as of October, where according to this, again, if we're to believe this, over 22,000 miles to work in a small town. None of these timesheets, by the way, she has notes written down here on most of her timesheets, some are blank. None of them mention anything about going to conduct a RISE meeting. None of them mention anything about even going outside of town. So, and some of them are blank. And the other thing that I found kind of interesting as well is that there's no check and balance here. She signs off on her own timesheets. I don't see anybody else's signature here on any of these that I asked for. I'm sorry, did you have something to say, Mr. Clifford?
I was answering her question.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a question for me.
No, I don't have a question.
Okay,
I'll have a
good.
statement afterwards.
Oh, good. So, there should be a check and balance. And I'm not just here, so everybody understands, I'm not just here to complain and to point fingers. I'm actually here, I'd like to offer you a solution. And I think what the solution should be, if the town charter doesn't already dictate that somebody should be looking at these and scrutinizing these every month, that a change be made so that there is a check and balance. And the other thing that I think should be looked at and scrutinized going forward is our mileage reports for her vehicle. Whether it be once a month, twice a month, somebody should be signing off on this and having some questions about what's going on. And the last thing, there's hours totaled up here. This is a salaried position. Are we paying the town administrator overtime? Are we giving her comp time? Are we, I don't understand how all that works, but my understanding is this is a salaried position. So why we would be totaling up extra hours down here? What purpose that serves, I have no idea, to be honest with you. It just kind of struck me as odd. So, that's my 2 cents, but I think somebody should be looking at both of these and see exactly how the hours are being used and scrutinize them a little bit. That's just my opinion, but if we don't have checks and balances, we have somebody that feels as though they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and nobody's going to bother looking at them. So again, be happy to discuss this with anybody from the council. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to provide copies. But I'd really like some clarification, and one of the quickest ways to some clarification, if anybody missed it, would be to take a brief recess at some point and go out and have her start that car and let's take a look at the real mileage tonight. So we have a baseline to look at, because none of this makes any sense.
A question for the solicitor. On the APRs, is that according to the Attorney General's office, that prepayment can be asked for any research, I believe it's an hour for research.
First hour is free.
First hour is free, and after that, the more research is needed, then that therefore.
Retrieval and preparation.
Okay, and the prepayment is also required, is also in the statute?
Prepayment is authorized by the Attorney General's Department. They've approved that.
Okay, all right.
And if I may, Mr. President, it seems interesting that the issue of giving a $150 discount that I did not charge him for, he forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that was written on here, but again, I can't tell what that means because
It means that I gave you a break.
I don't trust anything
No matter
you
how
put on paper
difficult
or
it
comes
is.
out of your mouth, so I can't tell whether or not you gave me a break or not.
Point of order, this is not a dialogue, Mr. President.
I just answered a question.
No, I know.
Thanks, Mr. President.
Ian Gill? Want to speak, sir?
On the charter?
Is there anything you want? This is the open forum for the good and welfare.
I thought you had a separate hearing.
There will be, sir.
So just begin?
No, if there's no other questions in the open forum, then
Oh,
Then we'll
I'm
start.
sorry, I thought that was for speaking about the charter. Didn't say.
that'll be later, sir. Is there anyone else who wish to speak at this time before we close the forum? Mr. Clifford?
Just make a quick comment. Mike Clifford, 489 Black Lane Road. I have made a prepayment. I was required about a week and a half ago to make a prepayment to the school department for $127. So they're not the only two people in town who have been requested to make a prepayment for an APRA request. I also was assessed that less than a week and a half ago. So just for the record, to keep things straight. And while I heard speaking about pumping gas and the gas and mileage issue, it prompted me to remember, I got a phone call from an unnamed source who doesn't want to identify himself, expressing a concern about the bus company drivers pumping their own gas. And I was asked to look into it. I'll bring it to attention of the town administrator because it affects all people, including the employees of the town who pump gas in their own cars. I don't know if it has, but the question asked was, does the pumping station at the highway bond have a fire suppression system? Because if it doesn't, employees should not be pumping gas themselves. There's a protocol, I guess, to follow in the event of a leak or the nozzle malfunctioning. And according to this person, the liability to the town is incredible if we ever have an accident or somebody non-employee identified who should be pumping gas and it blows up. And, you know, we've got all those bus drivers pumping gas and such. So I'd just like to bring to your attention that could somebody check and see if we have a fire suppression system, and is there a liability to having a lot of people pumping their own gas to the town? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clifford.
Just ask one more time.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak at this juncture? Hearing none, we'll close up the open forum, and we'll continue, we'll start the meeting itself. Madam Clerk?
Lord, assist with thy Holy Spirit of counsel all those who are serving in positions of authority and responsibility.
Amen.
possible to ask her to take them earlier on?
Did you do the roll call first?
Yes, for the town clerk to do so.
Ms. Alves? Here. Mrs. Nato?
Here.
Mr. Solly?
Here.
Mr.
Present.
Zalinski? Mr. Boucher?
Present. Okay. I'd like to move this item on the new business, which is number 13, discussion, vote, or other action on outdoor sound system, request by Maria Gomes. Motion by the chair, second by Councilman Solly. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please, Honorable.
Ms. Alves? Yes. Mrs. Nato?
Yes.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Maria Gomes in the audience?
Continue, Mr. President. Mr. President, due to the fact that Ms. Gomes is not here, let's continue this to a date certain when Ms. Gomes can attend this meeting, a meeting of the town council. I think she's looking for July 3rd, so there's plenty of time. Is that correct? From what I read,
That's correct.
Yeah, I have a letter.
So, why don't we, she can continue to, she's going to appear, so I had some questions about public safety.
Thank you.
A motion by
Motion to continue to a date,
to table,
table, yes. Thank you.
date concern. Motion by Councilman Zawinski, second by the chair. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mr. President, just can I clarify the motion with the table or to a date, did you name a date?
Well, I did say a date certain. What's better, table so Ms. Gomes can attend? We will be kind of at her beck and
table.
So, yeah, table.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Alves? Yes. Mrs. Nato?
Yes.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Okay. Docket number 4, discussion by council, vote other action on purchase of police cruisers, mobile computers. Mr. Parmelee?
Thank you very much, Honorable Councilman, Honorable President, and Town Council. I'm here with a request from police, and there are representatives here from them who will probably want to speak a little further on this after myself. What we wanted to do is, there is money accumulating in the cruiser fund, and at this point in time, the mobile computers in the cruisers are starting to break down. As you know, recently you approved the IT project for police. This mobile cruisers was not part of that. This is a separate purchase for separate cruisers. So what we're trying to do is present a purchase for those mobile computers for the cruisers. Currently, there is about $83,000 left in the cruiser fund. This request is for $37,590, which would outfit all of them, I believe. 10 of them. Okay, would outfit 10 of them. What's the total fleet? The total operations that need them? I'm sorry.
Jason, will that take care of, how many vehicles do we have?
Yeah, 10 out of 10. So all of the ones that need the laptop would be set in service. So that's what this agenda item is, but when we were discussing this, it dovetailed into another discussion where there's leftover after, if this purchase gets authorized, there's still $45,000 approximately left in the cruiser fund account, which would be, if I remember, when we did capital budgeting, it was discussed that we'd bring this up again when there's enough money to potentially authorize another cruiser purchase. So I figured for this agenda item, might as well put them on at the same time. So one piece is the approving the mobile computers, and the second would be to begin authorization for another cruiser purchase.
Any further discussion?
Has any questions?
Yeah, we don't have any bids in front of us for a cruiser, so that'll be for another day.
Oh, correct, this was just
Okay.
to gauge the...
Yeah, it's listed though
Start
as
a bid
such.
process.
Correct, well, until I'm authorized to spend, we do nothing. So prior to us even considering doing anything, I need the authorization.
Mr. President, in looking through the bid specs, I see that we have similar computers, and these computers are hardened to meet the rigors of police activities, vibrations, whatnot. as everyone can see, we had some bids that came in reflective of the city of Cranston, reflective of, who else was it?
Greenwich.
East Greenwich, yeah. So I think dollar-wise, from what's been presented, I have no problem making a motion to approve the amount of, I will make a motion to approve the amount of $37,590 for the purchase of laptops, 10 G-Tech, it looks like G-Tech rugged tablets, mobile units, and the amount that includes mounting hardware and whatnot, a couple other peripherals. Again, for $37,590. That's a motion.
Motion by Councilman Zawinski, second by the chair. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Alves? Yes. Mrs. Nato?
Yes.
Mr. Sol?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes.
Do you have a motion to give the authorization to start?
Oh, yeah, so what are we looking for, bid, to go out to bid for a cruiser?
Well, with the leftover funding in the cruiser fund, if I remember correctly, we spoke about potentially allowing them to buy another one when we get to this point.
And
We're at this point now.
Sure.
I wanted to gauge the interest in whether or not we should go forward with that, if we should try to pursue another one.
What was the,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
what
ahead.
was the price of the last ones we just approved?
It was either between, oh, I'm sorry, he's got to wait.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It's under the 45,000.
Captain Glenn Lamro from the Police Department, Mr. President and Council. I have two recent estimates from the Fleet Manager. $38,310 for an SUV that would be completely outfitted with the addition of mobile data terminal, which is another $3,800, for a total of $42,115 for that vehicle.
Looks like the funds are there. I mean, we have the funds.
Right now where we are, there's 45,900 in the account, and whatever we collect from the rest of the details between now and, when National Grid finishes paying up, my guess would be another 5,000 to come in between now and January.
Have a $7,000 fund
Cushion
balance
still.
in there.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Will that also include the Gen-Tech rugged tablets as well? Will that be
Correct.
equipped with that as well?
Yes, Mr. President, that total price I just gave you, that would be with the
It's
addition.
$42,115?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. President, this fund was set up to help alleviate some of the taxpayer burden to purchase police vehicles and equipment. So, I know we go through this all the time, Captain, we go out for bids and some auto dealers don't bid, some do. We've had problems with geographical location. I'm going to make a motion to approve the expenditure of $42,115 for a vehicle of the department's choice. I'm not even going to say it's an SUV. The department knows what you need best. So if you need that, $42,115, that's a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Zawinski, second by Councilman Nato. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Ms.
To authorize
Alves?
Mr. Parmelee to, in the Police Department to go out for bid.
They'll all come forward before we do anything, the package of what we want to award, or what we recommend the award to be.
Sure.
So it's just going to go through the bid process.
Oh, I got ahead of myself then. So in essence, I thought that we already had a bid come in at $42,115.
No, that's actually quotes for a spec'd out vehicle
Okay.
that we will then go put out a bid for and see what they come in.
All right, so
Maybe the competitive.
I'm going to remove my motion, I'm going to retract my motion, Mr. President.
Point of order, Mr. Solicitor. Since that we're not, this is not a motion to go out for bid or go out for purchase, therefore, the point is moot. In other words, it's,
Yeah, I want to retract my motion.
because he just went out for a spec.
My understanding is the motion that was pending and passed was a motion to approve 42,000 and change. That motion is being withdrawn?
Yes,
And now there should be a motion authorizing
yes.
bid.
To start the bid process,
Yes.
correct.
So did we get a second on that motion?
We did,
Okay.
second withdrawn.
Main motion by Councilman Zawinski, withdrawn, and the second is also withdrawn by Councilwoman Nato.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to have Mr. Parmelee go out to bid for a spec'd out vehicle for the police department. That's a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Zawinski, second by Councilwoman Nato, for Mr. Parmelee to go for a study for the police department on a vehicle of their choice. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Alves? Yes. Mrs. Nato?
Yes.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Item number 5 on the docket, discussion by council vote of action on request for 24-hour opening, Mr. Germanos, CT gas station.
Tony Germanos, 100 Fairview, North Smithfield. I am the manager and co-owner of City Gas Station at 503 Smithfield Road, North Smithfield.
Mr. Germanos, we got a packet of information. About three, it was 425 signatures supporting you to open for 24 hours.
Correct.
Unfortunately, I don't know how many of these people are from North Smithfield.
544.
544? And I only have... Must be just-
It's hard to tell because the numbers, it's not all filled in
Okay, all right.
sequence.
Okay, we'll say approximately 500.
500.
I know I know you're plight, I know you have a large investment in the community at your place of business. And I also too am concerned with the development in the city of Woonsocket with the imminent sale of the Aod Field. And like I said, I hate to see a businessman impacted by something just over the line, so to speak, with this is. So, all I can do is put the question before the council. Do they have any other questions of you, sir? Maybe tonight we may be able to vote. But I don't want to see a local business impacted by another community's business coming into the area. So, you have my sympathies, sir, with this. Councilman Sullivan.
All right, so I see the roughly 500 names here. I previously had expressed concerns for your neighbors. That's why when you came before us prior to tonight, I personally voted no, because you didn't supply any information with your neighbors. I ask again, do the neighbors directly behind you support you being 24 hours, and are they willing to come to a council meeting to say they support you being 24 hours?
The neighbors behind me,
The property
I
owner?
didn't go there, knock on the door and ask them. I thought if anybody objected, would come and speak.
But they don't know that this is going on.
Why?
They can't come to speak, because
Why?
it's not a public hearing, so there's no notification that they're 24 hours. So when you were here last time, and I had asked if your neighbors were in favor of you being 24 hours, I understand there's 500 people here. The people that concern me greatest are the residential neighborhood that directly abuts you. If the person behind you supports it being 24 hours, I personally would have no problem making a motion. But the residential residents that live near you also need to be in favor of this. I don't want to lose tax revenue. I don't want to see you go out of business, but I also want to make sure that we're doing the neighborly thing and taking into account the other property owners. The rights of all property owners need to be addressed, not just the single property owner. So if your neighbors support you, that's great. But I personally want to hear from them.
So what do you recommend me doing? Just go knock on his door?
No.
He's not, I know him, but he's not like my friend. I know him. Say hi every day. From guests, their daughter, everybody comes to my station. They come to my station.
Is their name on this?
I'm not sure. I went on vacation for a couple of weeks. My partner was here last time. I just sorry. I have to be
Council, so.
more prepared for them.
Sure. Mr. President, this is something that this council can say yes or no to tonight for a second or third time. I feel I share your sentiments. I do not want to see a businessman being injured. It's unfortunate that the city of Woonsocket chose to sell an active playfield to balance their budget. And with that comes the impacts again to North Smithfield. So, with that being said, Solicitor Iglesias, if this were to be a zoning change, we'd have to go out X amount of feet and notify abutters, correct? We'd have to get.
If it was a zone change.
Right. I know it's not a zone
I
change,
know.
but this is going to affect people up the Summit Avenue, it's going to affect people south down Greenville Road, and people across the street. So, would it be within a within legality to ask that a 500-foot radius? I'm not worried about Woonsocket at this point, because they're already taking their action to take a ball field and turn it into a commercial area. But if we were to take a 500-foot semicircle or whatever the degree is, and have notification at the expense of the gas company, and whatever that comes back, I mean, I want to support you, but you have to realize we have to protect the quality of life of our residents. Cumberland Farms coming, that's going to be a nuisance. Our police department's going to be mutual aiding over there quite a bit, and hopefully, I don't want to see you go out of business, but I think that if we could come, if there was a majority of the people in the area supported you, and that'd be through a certified receipt request letter that they're going to support you, I'd be the first. I think we'd fight over making the motion to give you 24/7. But we have to protect the integrity of the people that live around there.
Okay.
That's just if we can do that.
I think the council would have two choices. One, if the applicant would agree to do that at their expense, certainly that would be one, that would be an agreement between the council and the applicant. The alternative would be the council schedule a public hearing, which gets the actual no. You can have a public hearing on anything. There are things you have to have a public hearing on, but if the council wanted to have a public hearing on this matter, then it would be advertised. There's expense associated with that.
No, I don't have a problem with a public hearing with whatever's going to get the word out to the abutters. Notification would be direct, and here it is. You know, if you're interested, show up. Not everybody reads notifications in the newspaper, but either way, I'm sure word of mouth will pick up. I'm sure the breeze might be a story on this.
I just think the notification requirement would have to be by agreement of the applicant. The public hearing requirement could be by direct action. I think that's something that has to be.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, sir.
Is there any rules and regulation like control the business opening hours in North Smithfield for a gas station?
All businesses, all licenses are regulated by the town of North Smithfield. If you're serving food, you have a victualling license. If you have any type of machinery that people insert, sorry, you can't hear me? Okay. All licenses are granted by the town of North Smithfield Council. So whatever it would be would come through here. Now, as far as hours of operation, yes, businesses have to come. If they want to extend past certain hours, they have to come before. Case in point would be the McDonald's that came before us maybe 6 years ago. They wanted to be open 24/7. And they went exactly what you're going through.
Is it in a book?
I'm not sure. I'm going to defer to the
because my lawyer associate, I asked the town clerk, Ms. Deborah, and they said nobody is aware of anything like that.
What about Mr. Solicitor?
Obviously, I can't tell you what the hours of operation are now, but the hours of operation can be set by the town council, because you're sitting as a board of licenses right now.
I'm trying to explain it. I don't know if it
So
can.
you can set any hours of operation you want on any business you want. And usually, as I indicated in the past, when you renew applications, it should be indicated that you're renewing them pursuant to certain hours.
Yeah, but currently the licenses have been reapproved for this past year.
And at certain hours, yeah.
Yes, that's the way it should be done. Again, I don't know what was approved, but that's the process that you should be following. Is that every time a license comes before you, should be granting it. The application should have what the hours of operation are. You're granting the license subject to those hours of operation. It's the way every licensing board operates, whether it's a council licensing board or an actual bureau of licenses authorized by the city or town council. So at this point, they've obviously not had 24 hours of operation, then they're asking for that.
Yeah, I want to make sure he's, as Council President said, he has a large investment in this business. We certainly do not want to see him harmed. So I guess, Mr. President, the question comes down to, I threw out the idea of notification, but if we go out to a public hearing and we get the word out, the only people that could speak, anybody can speak during a public hearing, but the people of merit will be the residents. People would have to identify themselves as where they live, because we saw in one particular case where folks were employees were coming in and speaking. And I, as an elected official, I want to get the feeling of the neighbors, people that abut that or in the proximity to it.
I've been open for 23 on 24 for the last couple of months, and no single complaint, nobody complained. It's like notifying people, everybody knows. It's almost 24/7. Close the door 1 hour and open it again. Nobody complained.
You're fortunate that no one has complained.
The question I have
Very
is,
quiet.
Well, because most businesses in town close at 10 o'clock. Liquor stores close at 10 o'clock, all convenience stores close at 10 o'clock. The only exception, of course, is the CVS, which is open for health and health reasons to provide prescriptions. And the McDonald's, and I can tell you that I sat on this board during the McDonald hearing, and it was adamant, it was quite clear that this would be the only restaurant, and I had a problem with this. Much as I did not want McDonald's to be open 24 hours a day, the way that was passed was that would be the only restaurant, and I said, well, that's inhibiting of trade, we shouldn't even be doing that, but it was passed. In order to give one person an advantage over another business person. But it was passed, and McDonald's has a 24/7. Now, you're telling me you've been operating 23 out of 24 hours. I didn't know that. I can say to you, you're fortunate that no one complained that your hours of operation or noise became a problem. There's a house next to you, because this council would have had to take action. So I'm trying to work with you here. I'm trying to give you two options. I think probably the best one would be for the town council to schedule a public hearing in which residents have a choice to have the ability to come in and speak either for or against it. But I want to reiterate that I'll only truly be listening to residents of the town of North Smithfield.
the only question I had is probably only about no more than probably 6 homeowners in that area that would be, because I know that your lighting is rather restrictive, and it doesn't really impinge on on your neighbors. So the only thing I could advise you to do or consider is the fact that by either having yourself or just to talk to the neighbors, or sending letters to them directly, asking them to help support you. Because I know once farmers break ground, they're going to put up this building within a period of maybe 4 to 4.5 months. And that's it. And then it's game on.
Yeah, the neighbors behind me came like 5 weeks ago, asked me for the security camera tape for somebody coming to the swimming pool at night and, like she thought it was a thief or something. So I was helping them. By turning off the light behind the station when I close and everything, the monitor system won't be able to catch anything. So my neighbors are happy with me monitoring this corner there. The police are happy. I helped them more than 5 times. It's safer. We've had 4 break-ins. People broke into my store, steal stuff, and run because we closed. So by opening more hours, I'm more safe. The area is safer. Somebody is watching there. So you come to across the street from Woonsocket, break into my store, $5,000 damage. I can claim it because it was 3 times before. I lost $5,000, just people jumping over to go to Woonsocket, the other day. Come, break into my store and leave and go to the... It's safer there. The neighbors are happy. I know you want to hear from them, get a public hearing, but I thought today is a public hearing, so I was like, that's the second time I come. Okay, it's
No, it's just the certain
but
protocols.
I don't think that an hour will make any difference. I'm not trying to...
No, but of course,
It's a point to prove.
No, the point is, sir, is that I'm not sure what hours that your license was gauged to.
That's why I've been searching, I spend money on lawyers to try to find out. Nobody give me a correct answer. You say McDonald's open 24/7, say,
And they had to,
why not me?
and they had to apply for that
Yeah,
before the
a
council.
public hearing,
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, if I may, Mr. President,
so I
please,
didn't know that.
please don't be any more out of pocket for attorneys. Don't spend any more money for attorneys until would you want to come for a public hearing where it's posted so people can come and weigh in, the neighbors, North Smithfield residents can come in and speak to this? Are you amenable to that? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So
Anything to know.
we'll schedule this for February. I think January's jammed up, is it not? If I may suggest, January 4th, we have quite a
Maybe the
bit.
19th though, because
19th?
it doesn't give you much time.
Do we also,
What date would work for you, madam?
19th.
19th? Okay.
don't we have a public hearing dealing with the,
On the 4th.
on the,
Fidelity Freeway?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that date is.
That's the 4th.
That's the 4th?
Yes.
So the 19th would be available for this gentleman, Mr. Germanos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that work?
Is the 19th of January work for you, sir? We'll have the public hearing then. And we'll be in the newspaper, we'll be advertised, and then the residents can come. If your neighbors want to come and support you, then that would be great. But I'm very concerned about your investments, given the fact that this, lack of a better term, is this corporate giant is coming near you, and I know your investment was substantial.
That's why I'm looking around for ways to just like fight.
Right, I understand, sir, but like I said, we'll have the public hearing, and motion by Mr. Zelinski, and be seconded by myself. To have, thank you, Councilman Sullivan,
I think everybody was second.
and we'll second it so we can have the public hearing. We bring, like I said, bring supporters here, people from the neighborhood, and we'll have everything in an open forum, sir, and then we can make a decision after listening to the individuals of the residents of the area. Okay, so we have a motion on the
Motion to schedule a public hearing for January, what, madam?
19th.
19th, thank you.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yep, Tuesday, thanks.
Thank you.
Hang on, we had a vote, hang on.
Motion.
Did the motion at the second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Discussion, go ahead.
I'm looking at the street view on Google Maps of CT Gas, and I'm on Greenville Road, and I see 6 Greenville Road is what abuts your property. There's nobody across the street from you other than
It's the
Beef Barn. Yeah, I'm talking about residents, not other businesses. You know, the people that
There's no other residents that are
No.
6 and then 8's right behind
Yeah,
6.
it's still-
Right,
it's
and
only-
it's 8 that has the pool that he was talking about. It's 8 that has that. 'Cause I would be, if I lived in 6 or 8 is where I would think the residents would be most affected.
Right.
I would be amenable to make the motion if you could get a petition signed by both of these residents, the people that live there. I would be amenable to making the motion without having to wait till January 19th.
Okay, so I will go there and knock on the door, trying to.
Well, we kind of have to vote on that, so that way you're not doing that just for me.
No, I think, if I may, Mr. President, I think it has much more impact. If I'm looking at the Google Maps and I'm just trying to, what's
We're
it?
gonna go back to Earth?
Yeah, that's okay. What are we roughly looking at? 120 feet max to the second house? I think it impacts a lot more than just those 2 homes. There are
No.
homes behind it. And if you go
No,
down
it's
Greenville
not.
Road, hang on, can you get back to
After
that?
Coffee Cream, there's a
You
small.
cap the Coffee and Cream, there are a number of homes that go down both sides of the road and up to Summit Avenue, so.
Yeah, here's the Coffee and Cream parking lot, right?
Yep.
It comes down, so we have house, this is the first person that I was worried about, this is the second.
Mr. President, just so that everybody's clear, there's no one that understands what
This
this
is the
discussion
first
is that's going on.
Okay, I'm
On
sorry.
Greenville Road that abuts.
Okay, we gotta stop, there's been like a sidebar going on.
All right, yeah.
Okay,
I think you need to stick.
We had a motion.
Either it's a public hearing,
yeah.
or it's a radius map, and the applicant would agree to send out notice. I really think those are the two approaches.
Radius map would cost him money, so let's not do that, let's do the public hearing.
It should be the council course.
Yeah.
All right, then, so the motion's on the floor.
What's the motion to
We have
make?
a motion and a second.
In a second. Any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Selves?
Roll call.
Yes. Mrs. Nato?
Yes.
Mr. Soli?
Yes.
Mr. Zelinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. So on the 19th, we'll be advertising and be able to bring your supporters here to speak on your behalf, especially those neighbors. Like I said, there's probably 5 to 6 houses along the backside of your property. So, all right, then we're all set then. Thank you very much, Mr. Germanos.
Thank you.